on to 21. And for the second week in a row, the Cowboys made a concerted effort to get their running backs involved, led by Ezekiel Elliott, getting 17 carries for 95 yards with 2 touchdowns. And since training camp, Skip has said that Zeke will have a bounce-back season. So, Shannon, after last night, are you seeing a bounce-back season for Zeke now?
No, because we've lowered our expectations of Zeke, Skip. And I think that's what we needed to do. If you look at Zeke in his first 3 years, he averaged 22 carries a game, 101 yards a game, which led the league in rushing all 3 years. His first 3 years, 3 guys since the merger, averaged more than 101 yards per game. Eric Dickerson, Earl Cameron, Edgerrin James. All 3 are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Currently, Zeke averages 15 carries, 66 yards. He averaged 65 yards a game last year. Does that seem like a bounce-back year to you?
Is it my turn?
No.
Okay.
All I'm saying is what we've done is that we do not no longer expect Zeke Elliott to be the bell cow back. You mentioned Tony Pollard needs to get more carries. Everybody's mentioning Tony Pollard. So how can a guy be a bounce back, be your bell cow if you're saying his backup needs to get more carries than him? Ain't nobody saying, man, ooh, they need to get somebody, whoever the backup is, and Derrick Henry's backup. He's not demanding to get more carries. Dalvin Cook. Christian McCaffrey, when he's healthy, nobody's clamoring for Chuba Hubbard to get more carries. But that's what you're saying. So how can a guy have a bounce-back season if you're saying he needs, the backup needs more carries? What has happened, Skip, is that we've lowered our expectations of what we expect from Zeke. So because what we see now is like, man, he looking good. But then when you project it out, 15 carries, 66 yards a game, that's not bounce-back, Skip. I hate to break it to you.
Okay, my turn. Here's what's happening. Opening night at Tampa, it's the one team in this league you just cannot run against. The Rams did not run on the Bucs the other day. Am I right about that?
No, not for any effective. I think they have maybe 100 yards.
Okay, but you just can't.
No, you're not going to.
You don't go in saying, we know we can get 150 against them.
Right.
You just can't. So at Tampa, opening night, Zeke goes 11 carries for a grand total of 33 yards, which is obviously a 3-yard per carry. Okay. And he caught 2 passes for only 6 yards. But then all of a sudden we go to the Chargers, and he has 16 carries, up 5 from Tampa, for 71 yards. And he catches 2 balls for 26 yards, including the crucial 7-yard catch that helped win the game at the end in the final drive. And then what did we see last night against Philadelphia? They clearly came out and said, we are going to pound it down their throats. Right. And here he came, and he went 17 carries for 95 yards and caught 3 more passes for 21 more yards. So that's a combined 116 yards total. And that's bounce back Zeke, because you can see it game after game. He's getting stronger and stronger and more and more. So again, this is the second incarnation of that Zeke. He's never going to be that 3 years in a row led the league.
Well, that's what you said he was going to bounce back to.
I did not say that. I told you if he could get to 85 yards a game, which I believe he will get to by the end of the year, he will average 85 a game. He was career low 65 last year. If you give me 20 more yards and we blend in the lightning to the equation, all of a sudden you got thunder and lightning, and he was thunder last night. As he said after the game, they felt us. The offensive line was physical.
They fired off the rock. But here's the thing, though, Skip. In order for Zeke to get back to what he was, Zeke was the bell cow. There was no lightning. He was thunder and lightning.
Okay, but you said in year 6 nobody gets better than they were in year 5. He's just going to be better than he was in year 5.
Well,
does he not look different to your eye?
He does.
He's lighter. He's sleek Zeke. He's quicker. He's a little more explosive. It's mostly between the tackles, but he will punish.
Yes. He runs with tremendous lean. But, Skip, I've lowered my expectations. I no longer expect to see the Zeke from the first 3 years. So anything that I get is better, as long as it's not like it was last year.
Okay, but last year, shell of self, where he became a liability last year to even feed Zeke. And now I want that in any short yardage goal line, I want 21 to smash it up in there.
But think about what you're saying. In order for you to maximize his ability, you have to spare him. Where in the years past, his first 3 years, there was nobody. He was doing it all. He was short yardage and goal line. He was giving you that burst. He was giving you those 15, 20 yards runs. Now you're saying third and goal line situation, I want Zeke. But for the explosive plays, I want Tony Pollard.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
But I'm saying...
Okay, he's still much more valuable than he was a year ago, so that's bounced back.
But the question is, are you going to be able to use him? They're using him, Skip. You got to understand, the first couple of games, what were you doing? You were falling so far behind, you had to throw to catch up, so you took him out of the game. He didn't take himself out of the game.
This year, he is helping set the early tone where we take command of the game, and I've never seen... It's been years since I felt so confident at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, because what you're doing, Skip, instead of falling down behind 14-0 or 17-3, you're all of a sudden, you're 7-7 or you're 7-0. Yeah. So now my playbook, the entire playbook is still open. You fall down, Skip, by 21.
We are dictating.
Yes,
we are commanding.
Yes, so you can keep him at the table, whereas before...
Okay. So if we could see Zeke score the first touchdown, this is vintage, classic, now Zeke. This is how he eats now if we could see the first touchdown run. This is sheer gut, sheer will. It's not there. And he just said, no, I got this. Will anybody fight harder for 1 yard than Ezekiel Elliott?
That was a tough run.
Hey, it was a tough run, and he gets those. Any 3rd and 1 at midfield, you can trust him to get it because... Right. He has a warrior's will.
Yes.
Again, he doesn't have the breakaway burst.
Right.
On the 3rd and 1 at Tampa, he's not going to beat some practice squatter to the pylon. He just doesn't have that. But when Tony Pollard runs, I see burst and I see punishment. So I've got a 1-2 punch that they pack a punch. Both of them will punish a defense. Right. They will wear down a defense. I did not have any of the above last year.
Well, Skip, I just think the thing is that Zeke is a different back now. He's not the bell cow back that can give you the 30 carries.
But I do think he's a tone setter. He can be a first quarter tone setter.
Yes. But I do not believe he's going to be the guy that gives you 30 carries this week and can come back and give you 30 again next week and wear teams down back-to-back. That's why you have Pollard.
I don't know about that. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so in the first half, I kept advocating, sitting right here, you got to split their carries.
Yes.
And they split them. They gave Zeke 11 times the ball in the first half, and Tony Pollard got 10 carries.
That's my Skip.
And sometimes they shared thunder and lightning backfield.
Skip, you making my point. At what point in time in your first 3 years did you say Zeke need to share the carries?
Well, obviously not.
So that's what I'm saying.
But then
he's
in the
not
second half, Tony Pollard disappeared back to the bench, and they just said, we got the lead, and we're going to feed the beast.
Right.
And between the tackles, Zeke just took over the clock.
Right.
And again, they controlled the clock like crazy last night.
Almost 10 minutes time of possession.
It's 35-25 at the end of it. But in the first half, it was like ridiculous.
Yeah, it was going to be.
They just didn't have the ball.
Exactly. And the thing was, Skip, you did that, is that when you think about it, the Cowboys had the ball, they got stopped on the goal line, and they turned the ball over in the end zone. So really, the game could have been a lot more different. And because if you look at it, the Eagles only scored 14 points.
Okay.
That's 7 points. The defense got that.
Okay. The stat of the night for me is to sit back as the smoke clears from what I saw last night and realize the Dallas Cowboys are now, I know it's only 3 games, they're ranked 4th in the league in rushing the football, ground and pound.
Right.
Baltimore is number 1. No surprise there. No. Cleveland is number 2.
No surprise.
Well, they got 2 good ones, don't they?
Tennessee.
And Tennessee's got 1 good one because that's all they need.
Right.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 is Dallas.
Right.
New day, new dawn, new magic formula.
Yes.
You need to run it more than you throw
But
it.
you was trying to tell me that they need to put the ball in Dak's hand.
No, I didn't say that. You don't need 58 passes.
No, I'm saying all last year. I said, everybody been trying to tell you, this is a run-based team. You look at what they do. They can play action off of it, make Dak's job a lot easier. No, I want my quarterback to have the ball.
Okay, but you told me going into the year, he's making $75 million. There's no way they're going to run the ball more than they're going to throw it. And guess what? The last 2 games, they've run it a lot more than they've thrown it.
But I think the thing is where they're getting smart at, Skip, is that they're letting the defense dictate what they should do. Well, you're going to play us light with the box, which means a 6 or 7 man box.
Okay.
We're going to run the ball down your throat.
Okay, but any great running team, if I go back to, I know I'm going to the highest level, Emmett back in the 90s, they didn't care what the defense did. You can put 12 in the box.
Well,
We're going to run it down your throat.
Well, here's the thing, but teams now, Skip, they don't bang their head against the wall. They say, you know what, we got Amari, we got CD, we got Gallup and Wilson. You want to drop that? We want to throw one-on-one. You make our job a lot easier, Skip. You can't disguise that. When I see the safety sitting down there, you ain't playing cover 2. You're not in no quarters coverage. You're not playing 6 kick and all these exotic coverages.
Yep.
You're playing single high safety, and now I just picked the one that comes open first.
Okay, so why is Dak Prescott leading the entire NFL in completion percentage?
Because they check down Charlie.
No, because they're not asking him to throw 58 in the last 2 games. 58 passes at Tampa was ridiculously too many, and I know they're great against the run.
Well, look at Matthew Stafford. He threw how many? He threw a bunch of passes last week and had a high. I only missed 11 of them.
All I know is my favorite all-time stat is Dak Prescott era. Run it more than pass it. They are 26-0.
I know my
undefeated.
I know my favorite stat is QBR, and I know who leading in it, and I know who not. I know who leading it, and it ain't close. That old guy with the Rams.
Really?
Yeah.
That old guy? He is kind of an old guy.
Don't do that, Skip.
You
Don't
mean
do
the
that.
guy who got off to that horrendous start the other day?
It was the worst thing. Your guy that went 3 and out twice. Was it
Yes,
worse
it
on
was
him?
way worse.
I don't know. Your guy went 3 and out twice.
Yeah, your guy went 1 of his first 6, including a ball that should have been picked and probably picked 6.
Yay. But then once he caught 5, man. Ooh, he like Hunger Games. You remember when those Katniss Everdeen came out there, she was walking, and the fire, she was walking, Skip, that fire was blazing.
What?
I
You
don't
remember
remember that part.
You don't remember Katniss when she was on
I
fire?
saw every